And welcome. Welcome to the Comic Corner. My name is Damon. I am your host. What we do is comic book news, reviews, and interviews. And holy news dump we had this week. I am so glad we actually didn't record on a Thursday for once, because on Thursday, everything happened. Everything was announced. Just insane things. So in order to break it all down, and we're going to be talking about the majority of it, we assembled a whole team. TJ, AF, we're all here. TJ, how are you doing this fine morning?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic, man. I just finished up my reads for today. I was getting them in early, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Like you said, a lot of news dropped, a lot that I'm very excited for. I already know, I know you, Damon. I know we are going to have differing opinions on a lot of this news, so I'm excited to get into it.
Okay, AF, how are you? We're starting there already. AF, good morning or good evening for you, actually.
When we get into X-Men, man, we always are like on the separate sides.
Dude, I'm doing good. Had a nice week. Wasn't too busy. Got to watch the finale of Spider-Man. So yeah, it's been a good one. And now I get to talk about some comics. But I don't understand, Damon. Why did you have to use that image for the news bonanza? Why?
Well, because that's the biggest news of the week. It is. It's the biggest news of the week. And it will be headlining our very giant-sized news segment. Wow, I should have honestly called it that. Ultimate week of comics ahead. After that, we will still be talking about some comics that came out this week. And including that is Feel the Wrath. There you go. There's some Marvel Rivals thrown in there. We have a new issue of Storm also out this week as well. But let's not wait around anymore. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so last week, AF was not here for this. AF was not here when they showed the image of literally digging up Gwen Stacy's grave, because nothing is sacred anymore in Marvel Comics, apparently. And they announced that Gwen Stacy will be returning as Gwenpool. Famously, everybody, I don't know if you all heard, because everyone knows this now. Famously, Gwenpool is not Gwen Stacy. She is Gwendolyn Poole. So let's, at the very least, before we ring alarms and yell and get angry, let's read this little synopsis that they've given us. Gwen Stacy returns as a darker, deadlier, and even more unhinged Gwenpool. And who better to help Spidey navigate this soul-crushing revelation? Soul-crushing indeed. Then the medium-shattering, attention-seeking Marvel Comics superfan that is the original Gwenpool, the only Gwenpool. It's a wild team-up as the pair race to solve this unhinged mystery, keyword unhinged again, before it's too late, because Gwendolyn Poole knows better than anyone that there's definitely not enough page time for two Gwenpools. First question, AF. I know you've been giving me thumbs down that entire synopsis. Do you think this is actually a dug-up version of Gwen Stacy?
I think that they're going to try to go some sort of zombie route. I don't like it. I absolutely hate it. But the fact that you're just having the whole thing about Gwenpool was, I remember back then when it just got released, I remember reading that some of the Marvel execs, they weren't happy that it was actually so well received. They thought it was just going to be a meme sort of release, and then people started liking the character, and then they were like, okay, so what do we do now? And then that you go out and say that Gwen Stacy and Gwenpool, they are not the same person, that you reiterate that so many times. But now you come back and you do something like this. No, what is happening over at Marvel? First, we have everything that's happening with the TVA, doing all of those 616 shenanigans, and now this. I don't know. I don't know.
I've officially turned they off onto my side, TJ. It seems like I officially made him a big sourpuss on it all. Look, I'll say this. I'll say this, TJ. I know when I talked to you about this last week, you're just like, whatever. You're so over 616 Spider-Man, so over 616 Peter Parker that you're just like, whatever. But my biggest hope, the only way that I can be slightly saved with this is if this is essentially just a meta commentary on how Gwenpool isn't Gwen Stacy. That's the only way I can be like, okay. You know what the worst part about this is? Because the next paragraph, you know who's going to be making a guest appearance in this series?
They did your guys dirty.
They did me so dirty.
Literally personal. Like,
Landshark will be guest starring in this series. What did I do?
And Kate Bishop.
That's both of them.
Yeah.
That's a personal attack against you.
Oh, my Lanta. Oh, okay, so out of morbid curiosity, I will probably be reading this first issue because I just gotta know what the heck is going on here. But when I say a short leash, I'm talking the shortest of leashes. AF, TJ, will either of you be picking up Gwenpool number 1?
I'm going to pick up issue 1 because I love to get hurt. So I love pain.
We're masochists, man.
I'm just going to pick it up because I'm reading the TVA stuff. I'm reading Ghost Spider.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well just make it a holy trifecta.
TJ, how about you?
I'm definitely going to pick it up just because like so many people are upset about it. And I think that's funny. So I just want to read it to see like, you know, what everyone's talking about, like how ridiculous it is. But I said this last week. I have no idea what's going on. I know nothing about Gwen Stacy besides that she died on that bridge. And like, that's basically it. So again, I find it funny. Like I'm not funny. I mean, you know, people feel strongly about characters, but like people are so up in arms about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm definitely gonna check this out now. So yeah, I mean, I just hope it's a fun time. I hope she kills a bunch of people. I mean, based on the cover, I hope she kills a bunch of people.
The Wolverine
this might sound
make absolutely
really
no sense here.
Yeah, this might sound really stupid because again, I know nothing about what's going on here. But maybe she's got like a zombie-oat, they brought that in the Venom run, so like that could be pretty cool to see that come back. No. But yeah, I mean, I'm not like, oh my god.
They are going to make the Ryan Reynolds Wolverine Deadpool type from Wolverine Origins.
True.
That I'm already ready to move on to the next discussion.
That right there.
Say this painful. 3 minutes was too long already for this book.
Oh. All right, so Gwenpool, that's happening. Also happening, this is the 50th anniversary of Giant-Sized X-Men, the X-book that changed everything. So how are we going to celebrate this, AF? We're going to send Kamala Khan all the way back through history and hopefully not retcon things too much, because she will be going and seeing the events and possibly explaining some things, or hopefully, like I said, not retconning too much of the major, huge X-Men moments. So acclaimed X-Scribes, I know, TJ, you're a big fan of this duo. Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing join forces with superstar artists, including legendary X-artist Adam Kubert, for an epic saga that takes fans on a mind-bending journey through the X-Men's greatest events, revealing mysteries long buried and secrets that will define the future of Marvel's mutants. Each of the 5 one-shots also includes a Revelations backup story by X-creators of the past, and you can experience all of this for the first time on the free comic book day Fantastic Four / Giant Size X-Men #1 in May. So included in here, as we mentioned, it's Dark Phoenix Saga, Days of Future Past, Age of Apocalypse, Giant Sized, and House of M. TJ, why are you excited for this?
Dude, I'm psyched. I am so psyched. I love it. We talk about it all the time. I've really been liking the new X-Men stuff. Mm-hmm. And I have talked about this a lot of times. We've had them on the show, I think twice now, but I am a huge fan of Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly. I love all of their work. I Love what they've been doing with Kamala over in NYX. I've really been enjoying them behind her. So to have them continue writing her in this kind of big special, I mean, that's just music to my ears, man. And I personally think something that the Hive Mind does very well is kind of leveraging the Marvel universe to like aid in their stories. Like I'll throw out Timeless as an example. They're kind of the Marvel kind of 1 year kind of thing where
they're looking ahead, like, teasing.
Yeah, like way in the future. But I don't know. I just feel like they are really good at taking things from Marvel history and working it into whatever they're trying to tell. So I personally think that they could do some really, really cool stuff with Kamala going through the X-Men's history and not retconning it, but just kind of bringing more context to it. That's what I would imagine. And so, yeah, I'm super psyched about that. And again, I just love the current X-Men line. So yeah, this is awesome. But I will say very quickly, because I've already rambled, but I do have beef with Marvel on behalf of Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, because we need to get them more than a 10-issue title. Like I think it was just announced with this. It was also announced NYX is ending at 10. And the series is great. I love all their other series, but give them some more runtime. I need like 20, 30, like, let the guys cook. It's really kind of frustrating for me as a fan of them that they keep getting lumped with these 10-issue kind of series, which that's a common thing across Marvel. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of getting sick of the 10 and done, 4 and done. We talk about that all the time. I want some longer runways.
Yeah, X-Force also another one of those books that is ending shortly. AF, I know you've been keeping up with NYX quickly on this matter. Are you interested in this?
Yeah, so I'm not really following much X-Men, but I know that if anything is going to make TJ happy, then it has to be good. And yeah, just like to echo his things about Jackson Lansing, like I think that dude is amazing. So I'll probably I read almost everything with Kamala Khan, so I'll probably check that one out to see what sort of shenanigans she catches on in. Maybe retconning things. She probably will. It's Kamala.
Yeah, I hope not. That's my biggest fear with this, is that especially when you're digging deep on like classic, huge, crucial X stories, that we're not changing too much about those things that are great and may muddle them up a bit. So I hope that's not the case here. Maybe it's just because I'm on the Gwenpool thing too. Like, this was not the worst news of the week. This just kind of happened for me. So it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, if you're surrounding something around a plot point like that, about making an effort to mention she's going to go back in time to do whatever, something's going to happen. There has to be some sort of consequence for them mentioning that in the first place.
We'll see. Marvel events sometimes, as we all know, they set up a big thing and something not completely drastic happens by the end of a 6-issue or 6-month. 6-month event. Okay, some interesting news. We also speculated for a long time now where Chip Zdarsky is going to be going. We knew he was coming back to Marvel. What was he going to do? Well, it's been revealed. He's doing Captain America. That wasn't high on my list of what I was expecting. It makes sense, though. It does make sense. Cap does need a little bit of a refreshed book going on right now. And neither of you have heard the plot about this. So
no.
Let me read it to you right now. The opening arc of their game-changing new run takes place in a rarely explored time period, after the World War II hero emerged from the frozen suspended animation, but before he joined the Avengers. Declassifying Steve Rogers' first mission after re-enlisting in the U.S. Army, the story seeks Captain America tasked with infiltrating Latveria, leading to his previously untold first encounter with Dr. Doom.
That sounds cool.
I know we both enjoyed
up over here.
We talked about on like a monthly basis was Avengers Twilight.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers played a huge role in that. I'm excited. Like, I'm looking forward to this. I think that's interesting. And I know Chip can write Cap. That showed to me Chip can write Cap very well. Both of you, very quickly on this. Yay or nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. 4 thumbs up. 4 thumbs up all around.
I think this will be a great run.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, with Chip Zdarsky leaving Batman, who's going to come in to take over Batman? Well, it's none other than his good friend, Matt Fraction. Yes, Matt Fraction, who is the writer of my all-time favorite comic book series, Hawkeye, and how him and Chip also did Sex Criminals as well. He is taking over Batman. We don't know too much about this yet, about the story. We just know Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez will be doing this new Batman run. Here's a new look. It's the classic blue bat logo. Like it's more of a classic contemporary vibe.
This Batman's looking a bit lean.
He's looking a bit Nightwing-y. And specifically in this issue, in this pose. Now I've seen the interiors, some interiors much more like a gray suit than a black suit. So it's not the black suit. It's just this specific cover right here is very Nightwing-y. But I'll give it a go. I've never been like a huge Batman guy. Like, I'll read some stuff, but I'm not like a huge Batman guy. I'll give it a go. Either one of you, will you give this thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down?
Thumbs up, and I just want to bring attention to how you emphasized man when you said Batman.
He is Batman. He is not Man-Bat, famously. All right, my agenda for 2 things right here. It has been since 2019 was the last time the Umbrella Academy released a comic book. 2019. That was, well, technically over 5 years ago, going on 6 years because it was late in 2019. I've been hanging. And Hotel Oblivion was like my favorite thing that they did, that Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba did from the Umbrella Academy. We're finally back, ladies and gentlemen. The Umbrella Academy Plan B also headlined the Sparrow Academy, because if you've been watching the show and if you watched the final season, first of all, apologies because that final season was not good. But also, if you've been reading the books and you've been following the show, the second to last season was all on the Sparrow Academy. And the last book that came out, the Sparrow Academy were introduced, like teased, to be like, oh, who are them? After that, we don't know anything about the Sparrow Academy. So since then, that show kind of like did its own thing, for most of it anyway. Regardless, I'm very excited for this. We just had a book from Gerard Way. We talked to his artist on that, and I dug it. I'm digging more Gerard Way stuff. He's a very busy man this year. It seems like going on tour, hopefully maybe a new album as well. Who knows? Yay! Umbrella Academy is back. Fingers crossed. We got it. Woo!
Do you think that they are going to take any sort of inspiration from what the Sparrow Academy
hope not.
was? I didn't dislike the Sparrow Academy in that second last season, though. I think that there were elements in that team that could work.
It was fine. They to me, they completely botched what was my favorite run, the favorite arc of this entire run. I'd rather not talk about that, because I'd rather talk about Jeff the Land Shark. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff the Land Shark is getting his very first official Marvel Comics printed series. Jeff Hive, All of Us Rise. And I just want to say the idea behind this is hilarious. I had no idea what this was until I was making the slides for this. And it's very meta to how people have now seen and treated Jeff since Marvel Rivals came out. When an accident in the Sanctum Sanctorum creates a Shadow Jeff intent on causing trouble, Jeff scrambles to undo his mistake. But when Shadow escapes onto the floor, Jeff must follow if he intends to return to Shadow where he belongs. And it's a grand tour of the Marvel Universe where Shadow's going crazy around the world and Jeff is trying to reclaim his good name.
That sounds fantastic.
The covers for this are very Marvel rivalries. Like, I've seen Cloak and Dagger on here, Moon Knight, Strange, Squirrel Girl.
Dude,
like,
I see
all the Marvel rival characters are on this thing. Magic's
you gotta
on
capitalize, man. You gotta capitalize.
So he's going all around. He's going to Madripoor. He's going to the Savage Lands. Who knows where else we will find little Jeff the Land Shark. I am all for. This is going to be written, as always, by Kelly Thompson. Art in this one by Toki Tokoro, and covers by Guri Hiru. Yay, more Jeff. More Jeff. All right, so that wraps up our news portion. This was just like the highlight of I needed to end all of the craziness on a high note. And we got more Jeff, and I'm all excited for it.
I respect it.
Let's talk about some comics that came out this week. The number one comic for me, my most anticipated comic, was Ultimate Wolverine #2. This is written by Chris Condon, artist Alessandro Capuccio, colorist Brian Valenza, and letterer Corey Pettit. TJ, you had a chance to read this, correct? You did. I would say this. I've seen, for whatever reason, there's some folks who are like, this didn't progress the story much. It's the second issue. It's the second issue.
I don't care at
Good
all.
gravy, people. Anyway, just cool. And really, what this shows is how much of a control and how deep the hands are into the brain of Wolverine here that the Russian Union have on him, that Colossus, that Magic, and Omega Red have on him, the control, how much they can actually infiltrate his brain and have infiltrated his brain. Can he be corrupted? We're laying seeds of that already, right? But we have this Wolverine who has still 2 issues in AF, has not said a word. Our main character in this book, 2 issues now, has been dead silent, and it's been fantastic. TJ, very bloody moments in this book, very gruesome. What you think about this issue?
Loved it. I don't care what people say. I don't even care if we get into the story 10 issues in. I honestly, I was thinking about this while reading the issue. So that if anyone who read issue 1, we get a very similar kind of thing where, he's taking out soldiers in the woods. I'll take 10 issues of just that. No even dialogue. It's just so cool. His design is so cool. Slight spoilers, him carrying those severed heads and the back. Oh, dude.
My God.
Give me all of it, dude. I don't even care what's going on with the Rasputins. I'll just take that.
I do.
I mean, I do, but it's just it's just so cool. I think everything, this book is just, it's just cool, man, right? That's all I can say about it. And I will say, too, my last point, it was so good seeing Maker finally. We have not seen Maker. That was so good. Even though it wasn't groundbreaking, it was just so cool seeing him show up and just kind of remind us this is what the big bad guy is, right? So
this is how he's slowly, and if I brought this up, I think it was last week, my big difference between the Absolute line and the Ultimate line in terms of how I would describe them differently. The Absolute line is chaotic evil, where Darkseid's energy is just running rampant, and you have this Gotham that is literally just up in flames almost always. Where in the Ultimate universe, it is an organized evil. Everything was so methodically planned, 5 steps ahead by the Maker. And you see a little bit of that in this issue at the very beginning to see how he was able to get the Russians to be full Winter Soldier on Wolverine. I am worried. Look, it's a little funny because, as we've been saying for the past now month, I've been on a big Magic kick, a big Ileana Rasputin kick. She is straight evil in this. She's evil, but she also seems like she has the most brains going on throughout it. She's the only one questioning anything going on. Colossus is just oh yeah, I will prove that I'm the bigger guy and control him with my strength. And Ileana is I don't trust this idea at all. This is gonna go terribly wrong. All I'm gonna say, they're all dead. Oh my God, they're all just dead. It's gonna be a sad day for me, but look, this is an evil Ileana going on here. AF, I need to get you on all these Ultimate books someday. We're gonna go through them.
One day when it gets added to Marvel Unlimited, then I'll be able to catch up on them. That is my plan.
There you go. Well, Ultimate Spidey mostly on there, so it's only 3 months behind. So get on that. Speaking of Ultimate books, TJ, did you read? Are you caught up ish on Ultimate Black Panther?
I'm caught up. I just haven't read this newest issue. Yeah, I read 12.
So Ultimate Black Panther. Again, a lot of complaints on the socials, on the interwebs about the pacing. I've been liking the pacing. This issue said pacing. Here's everything you guys want. And we get full into the new Sorcerer Supreme stuff. We essentially kind of moved on from the Ron Conchu thing. Like, yeah, no. You guys got bigger problems with this. You're hearing voices in your head from this metal? Yeah, that's a problem. We got to figure out what's going on here. And that's where you get that idea of science and mystical magic. You put them together, and crazy, crazy things are starting to unravel in Wakanda. Dug this issue. So dug this issue. I cannot wait for you to read this issue. Again, if anyone who has been reading this book and you are a little frustrated on the pacing, maybe that last issue of the last arc, issue 12, is just like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Pick this up. Pick this up, because this is pretty much everything that people have been, the majority of people have been like wanting to see, with the big push of what's been going on with Vibranium, bringing this new Sorcerer Supreme, everything.
I'm so excited. I love the like magic science stuff. I mean, shout out my boy Thor. Magic is just science we don't understand yet, right? So I love like when writers play with that idea, and like it's I'm excited that it picks up a little bit, but like we talked about, I honestly was enjoying the pacing, so I'm not saying that like worries me, but it's like I don't want Brian Hill. I don't want him just to, the fans want faster. You know what I mean? Like, I want to stick to the plan, right? So, I mean, I love it, so I'm excited for it.
Yep. This is written by Brian Hill, artist Stefano Caselli, colorist David Curiel, and letterer Corey Pettit. I've just been loving pretty much all of the Ultimate stuff going on right now. Thank goodness for it from Marvel. Thank goodness for it. Okay, TJ, Earth's Mightiest Mutant. Eventually, that headline is going to be changed. This is Storm, written by Miriwa Ayodele, artist Lucas Warnick, colorist Alex Guillemesh, and letterer Travis Lanham. How are we getting to the Eternal Storm, TJ?
Dude, it's freaking crazy. So when we had our interview with Moreira, he talked a lot about like, I'm gonna break the Marvel universe. Like, I'm gonna take all these like big cosmic concepts, and I'm gonna freaking, throw a wrecking ball into it. And man, did he do that in this issue. And when I say that, not in like a way that's like, oh, we're forgetting about this. Like, we're just dealing with the big, massive powers. And this issue is so great. Shout out also Lucas Wernick. His art is incredible. We get Eternity fighting Infinity and Oblivion, and Storm is like just this cosmic, like she looks like Storm, but like she doesn't have a mortal body, and she fights Doom, who's obviously Sorcerer Supreme right now. It's just it's everything you could want from a book like this, and especially the way that he set it up to get to this point. It's just freaking awesome, dude. Like,
only 5 issues in, all the way to this point already. This is flying,
hitting the gas. Like, what he's doing in this book is really incredible, and just the way he writes Storm, like the respect and just the way he presents her is fantastic. I can't recommend it enough.
Great. I was actually going to ask how the One World Under Doom tie-in kind of played into this. I guess when you are Sorcerer Supreme and you have all these beyond cosmic beings like Eternity, Infinity, you're going to get involved in that one way, shape, or form. We have seen like solicits of covers heading forward, and Storm is seemingly getting this some soul sword staff thing that just looks so cool. I can't wait to hear your thoughts about that.
It's a hoot holler book.
Oh, hoot and holler book indeed. AF Hey, look, here's a Spider-Gwen book that we're not like groaning over. This is from Stephanie Phillips, artist Von Randell, colors to Matt Miller, and letter Ariana Mayer. What's Spider-Gwen doing in a world where Gwen Stacy 616 may be coming back?
The first issue that I did not like.
Ooh.
10th issue, and I don't know what was happening in Stephanie's life or what sort of instructions she ended up getting from the top, but everything was all over the place in this book. There was an entrance of Jessica Jones. We haven't seen her since like issue 3 or 4. I can't remember how far back it was, but she just appears out of nowhere. Doesn't really serve us much, and it's a whole cliche of a crush that she has or somebody that she likes ends up being the villain that she's going up against, that she's been chasing. So there's been all of these reveals that the Black Tarantula is this crush that she met in the coffee shop, and he was planted there to try and like find out more information and do intel and all those things on Gwen Stacy. And the starting of it as well, it starts off in the TVA with Mobius and Obi, because everything that Obi did to get Gwen Stacy onto 616, there is ramifications for that, and that's now funneling through to the TVA. And then the entire first 3 pages is just Mobius yelling at Obi. Just like saying, "This is all your fault. I told you not to do it, but you just did it anyways."
That
and
doesn't sound
then
like Mobius.
yeah, and then at the end of it all, she says, "And the reason why I'm on this earth and I can't go back home, to be continued on a page that shows Loki."
Okay, which Loki? Loki,
King
God of
Loki,
Stories Loki? Like
King Loki
MCU?
from Earth 65. So she said, "It's a King Loki from my Earth."
Oh.
So it literally just appears and is to be continued. So obviously,
Okey-dokey.
we have to read the next issue to see what that means or why that happened. But I didn't like it. I feel like I was all over the show mentally reading this. And I had to go back a couple of pages to try and make sense of what I actually read and did that actually happen. So yeah,
You feel like Gwen
kind of a
Stacy on this
confusing.
cover, just tangled in a big web, not sure what's going on
100%.
and confused.
100%. I mean, like Stephanie was 9 out of 9 up until this point. I mean, there's always going to be a time when the writer is going to have a miss at some point. So I think rather just get it out of the way now, and then hopefully back on the up from the next one.
TJ, The Incredible Hulk, written by our friend of the show, Philip Kennedy Johnson, artist Nick Klein, colors Matt Wilson, and letterer Corey Pettit. Corey Pettit everywhere at Marvel Comics.
Dude.
TJ, what'd you think about Big Monster Book, issue 22?
Big monster, punchy fighty. Love it. It's so good. But no, seriously, like you said, friend of the show, Philip Kennedy Johnson, this Hulk run has just consistently been great. AF, you just said, every run kind of has its lull issue, but I really can't think of one for this book. It's just like constant action, tension. This book, we don't necessarily get like big monster fight in this one, but I always forget her name, but the kid that's with Hulk that you can see on the cover there, she now is possessed by like the werewolf god Lycan. So like she turns into a monster now, and PKJ is going back to the horror very heavily in this one. We get some dismemberment, we get some bloody body parts in bathtubs. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. I'm really excited to see where he goes with this new, like I said, new monster and Hulk being like a mentor almost. It's good.
Where does this rank in Hulk books you've read?
Ooh,
We're now 22 issues in. This is a decent sized run for a modern day Marvel book.
Honestly, it's like obviously everyone covets Immortal Hulk as like the standard, and what Al Ewing did just to the Hulk mythos, it's kind of hard to feel like it's almost unfair to compare it to that, because that's like way up there. But honestly, this has to be one of my favorites. I've read, like, obviously the Peter David stuff from back in the day is great, but again, I personally, I love Hulk as a monster. Like, he is like, yeah, he does like good things, you know, but at the end of the day, like, he is a freaking monster. And so that's what I really love about this book. And PKJ delivers, as he always does.
AF Green Lantern Corps #1. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I actually haven't been following the main Green Lantern book for a while. I think I'm behind about 4 or 5 issues or something like that. So when I saw this one, I was just like, I read the Fractured Spectrum title as well, but I just wanted to see if this is going to be a good jumping on point for anybody coming in quite fresh, not really having to read the main line. But what I got from it is that it's more of a sort of supplementary book to the main line. But it's not a bad read though. It's like in Fractured Spectrum, we had the Green Lantern Corps. They were dealing with Nate Bloom, the Sorrow Lantern. TJ, you might remember him from one of those early issues. But yeah, he stole an early version of the Book of Oa from Guy Gardner, and he basically wants to find components to build a power battery, a Sorrow power battery. So because he wants everybody to feel what he feels. He wants everybody to feel the pain and the hurt that he feels. So obviously now all of them come back together. They form this OG amazing team. As you can see, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, John Stewart, Joe Mullen. They are all there. They're all hands on deck trying to ensure that this guy doesn't get what he wants. And included in this is Sinestro. He's not on the cover, but he's the Green Lantern now. He's back to being a good guy. And what is DC All In or DC in general doing with taking these villains and making them good guys? Lex Luthor, Sinestro, who's next?
Well, let's say this. So, by the way, this is written by Jeremy Adams, Morgan Hampton, artist Fernando Passarin, Auclair Alberts, and colorist Arif Prianto. Now that we do not have an omnipresent evil being kind of going all throughout the universe, and there's nothing but, let's say, Superman energy going all throughout the universe.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do. Now, as we've mentioned, we're starting to see some elements of old Lex Luthor start to return, and Superman, the next issue, is coming out next week, so we'll see the fallout of that. But I think that's interesting. We're starting to see more of like those bad guys start to become good-ish guys. And ever since Darkseid kind of went to the Absolute Universe, maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just big happenstance. We will find out. Last book of the week. This is from Boom Studios. This is the final issue of House of Slaughter. This is House of Slaughter number 30, story by James Tynion IV, written by Sam Johns, artist Letizia Condonici, colorist Francesco Segala, and letter Justin Birch. What I'll say about this book is, and it's more about the whole series and the whole franchise, if you will, Something is Killing the Children. So House of Slaughter is your big world building book. It explores all the different other factions, the different masks that are within the House of Slaughter. You have your red mask, your Azul mask, you're like essentially red mask, white mask, black mask, red, white, black, and blue masks. There's a bunch of different masks. They all represent different things, like whether you are in the field fighting monsters alone, you're fighting them in a group, or you're back at your home base at the House of Slaughter dealing with all the books, the finances, the tech stuff. It's a whole organization. Your colored mask means what you do. I am fascinated at this point now, 30 issues in, this is the last one, when we'll start to see like the big convergence of all of these stories that have been told within House of Slaughter, within Something is Killing the Children, Book of Cutter, all of this sick tick stuff, all of it. I'm waiting for the day. I'm fascinated to see when essentially you have your, I hate to use this as an analogy, but your quote unquote Avengers moment, your big team up moment, when things really start to drive forward and you see all these storylines intertwine and connect at the very end. This is so cool and fascinating too, because Something's Killing the Children that started out this entire world was just supposed to be a mini series. And it turned into this. And that to me is so cool. And it shows when you have something special that you're able to emphasize on it and take advantage of it and really build upon it. So, look, I've said it before. I really, really think everyone should read Something's Killing the Children. House of Slaughter is like your extra stuff, it's your world building stuff, but there's a reason why this story right now, this world right now, in the years 2025, few years prior to that too, you don't see this get done on a brand new IP pretty much ever. That's why this is just special, why this is so cool.
Yeah, no, like every single time I hear you speak about this sort of universe, this world, you keep on like selling it to me. I never ever get into it, but I have a plan to do it. But it's just like this Erika Slaughter character. Sorry?
So I'm gonna sit you down and just make you read the books.
Story time, AF.
Yes, story time.
But Erika Slaughter just sounds like an amazing character. And I mean, the fact that they have the opportunity to world build to this extent, and it's not, how can I say, categorically a mainline comic. It's not a Marvel story. It's not a DC story. It's not Image Comics or anything that has this like huge title. But that's how big it's become. That they can sort of extend the boundaries and just world build to this extent. So yeah, I like the fact that they can do that, and like we said, they're going to make a show about this. So that's as big as it can be.
And I also have 30 issues of a story that doesn't feature Erika Slaughter in it at all, that doesn't feature your main character. You're building out other characters. You're introducing new characters and then building upon some of them that we've seen in Something's Killing the Children. You stay with them for like maybe a story arc or so. I'm going to miss House of Slaughter. I hope this isn't the end of it. The finale, like this final issue, really shows like the big structural political changes that's kind of going on in this book. But I really hope this isn't the end of the other world building stuff within the Somebody's Killing Children world, the Sick Tick world, whatever you say. But yeah, House of Slaughter number 30. Go check it out if you like anything, everything Sick Tick. This is an absolute must. This is the finale of the Azure, the Blue Masks. All right, next week's polls. We had a big chunk. That was a chunker of a show. We had so much news, so many comics. I didn't even talk about all the comics I wanted to talk because I wanted to keep this episode under an hour, and we were able to do it. Next week's polls. Look, I didn't even mention it, TJ. This was the first week in Marvel Comics history. I guess we're only doing this for a couple of years now, or a year or so. But we had 2 new line Ultimate titles out in the same week, this week. And next week, we have 2 Ultimate titles out again. So Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate X-Men are out next week, as well as Superman, Hello Darkness from Boom Studios, and Absolute Wonder Woman number 5. TJ, it looks like Ultimate Spider-Man number 14 is the conclusion of the Kraven the Hunter saga. Just looking at solicits ahead, I am interested to see how that ends. If Peter's kid is going to play a factor in here, who knows? That's probably the one I'm anticipating the most, but it's a 1A, 1B with that and Absolute Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I need to not catch up. I am caught up, but I need to go back and read 13 before I read Ultimate Spider-Man 14.
Yeah,
just like to refresh myself. But I mean, we pretty much have the exact same polls. You're not picking up Jed McKay X-Men?
I may.
Number 12? Well, I'd say, well, I have that. That's different from yours, and then the other one that you don't have that I'm picking up is Space Ghost number 10, which I love that series.
There you go. AF. What you got?
Yeah, so obviously I won't be able to get it next week, but the issues that are releasing next week that I'm interested in are the Green Arrow 21, Justice League Unlimited. I think it's number 4 that's coming out, and TVA number 3. So I can cause you more misery, Damon.
More misery for me with that TVA book, with the introduction of the MCU 616 Earth 1999999. If you actually care about that stuff, the Wanda Maximoff of our MCU may be making her first official comics appearance within that issue. So interesting. I'm glad the Ultimate books are going out right now. Let's just say that. Woo-wee. All right, that'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. As always, make sure you go check out and support your local comic shops. Go to localcomicshoplocator.com to find your local comic shop. And until next time.